There she is. What's up, Michelle? How's it going?
Hi, so nice to see everybody.
Thank you so much for being on today with me. There we go. Hey, we're getting this thing going here. Well, it was fun because your stream on Friday, did you start announcing that you're coming on Friday?
I think so. I think, I think I just told people
started
on
early.
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday.
Yeah. I didn't tell them on Friday. I kept it a secret.
I kept my stream in the dark. Stream in the dark. But
I think the only people that knew were the crossover people knew, though. The people that kind of dip into both.
Grace, thank you so much for the host. I appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was debating whether or not I wanted to bring you on, Michelle, because after Sunday's show, I mean, you promised that I was going to win your competition. I mean, I did post pictures of my dead adopted dog.
But the thing was,
Chat,
it was
that was an easy win.
It was a public vote this time. I couldn't rig it, so I'm so sorry.
What's up, Dirty? How you doing, bro? Welcome in, man. I mean, come on. That was like, I mean, I guess the thing that hurt me, I think, in the long run was that my submissions were the very first, and you had 66 submissions. So by the time we were done, everyone was done already. I don't even think Mecca had her piece of paper and pen until halfway through the stream. She's like, oh frick, I forgot everyone who was in the beginning. I gotta start writing down names of who I like. And for me, I went first, so oh, she didn't even see my submission. Oh, there
I think she might have popped in late, so she might have missed it. But unfortunately, Matt Hickey took the crown. So blame Matt just for his superior entry this week.
Congratulations, Matt Hickey. I should have won. Okay, anyways. Just kidding. Let me pull up my show notes for today. Today's stream is sponsored by NutriValley. NutriValley biscuits give you the great energy that you need from the stop in the morning all the way into the end of the day. 14 grams of whole grain. Get your Nutri-Grain Bickies. They're delicious.
Wait, what?
No, just kidding. Bickies. I know Bickies. I know Australian people besides you. Just kidding. Well, I do, but yeah. Anyways.
But they're not as cool. I get it. That's fine.
Yeah. And man, so Michelle, thank you, Ludovic, for the 3-month streak. Time flies when you know you have nice streamers. Appreciate that. Oh, little Brit. Maybe I could win the body challenge. I don't know.
Oh, yes. That is the comp this week, is the creative challenge in our stream this week is body. That's the topic. So, anything that's...
Bro, no. Dadbot coming in thick. Woo! Yikes. Maybe that was a little too much.
Guys,
Dirty, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. And here we go, chat.
I can't remember who slid into whose DMs first. It was probably me because I'm quite forward. I always do that. I want to be friends with this person. I saw your stream and I was like, I need this person. He's awesome. So I dare say I would have DM'd you first. But yeah, I just find that really weird because not in a dodgy way. Oh my God. You don't
in a dodgy. I like it.
No, just in a, I would like to be friends with this person. But that's really weird to me when, people say that whatever, I've got so many followers or whatever. It's just a number, It's not any indication of anything really,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just flipping through your work still yet, and so everyone can see the kind of freaking stuff that you get to be a part of. hanging out with Mark Ronson. So I gotta ask.
Oh yeah.
How many shots have been fudged because you were dancing while taking photos?
Oh yeah, I like to dance when I'm shooting. I am known to definitely have a little bit of a boogie in the pit for sure. And that particular show, I was actually shooting like for Mark Ronson. So yeah, that was actually a really, really tiny venue. And as you can see, like I'm the only one on the stage, and like those types of positions are like, you know, entirely privileged, like to be in that, you know, that close proximity to someone like that. I got to work with him the next day and do some portraits and hang out with him while he was doing some media and stuff. So yeah, like I mean, I have the best job in the world. I don't take it for granted at all. Like I have worked really, really, really hard to get to where I am, and I am eternally grateful. I have many moments of gratitude where I'm like pinch myself and go, oh my God, I can't believe like I'm getting, you know, these opportunities to travel the world and tour and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm incredibly fortunate. Yeah.
Okay. Music photography seems like it would be so challenging as someone who almost exclusively shoots outdoor daylight. Is that true? Oh, no. Are you talking about yourself, Gypsy? You are someone who mostly exclusively shoots outdoor daylight. Okay. How often do you find yourself, what is it? It's like 50-50 inside, outside when you shoot music, or what?
Yeah, so I guess my time is split up doing like what you're looking at the moment. So you're looking at my live music stuff. And then the other thing that I do is I shoot press shots and album covers and tour posters and stuff like that for artists. And yeah, it's probably about 50-50 now. But in terms of shooting like live music stuff, I think once you know like the basic settings and stuff, like it's challenging at first, but the light's always changing. So I think that's the most challenging thing. But it's more about, there's a lot of like preempting moments and you know, guessing what might happen, and that's a skill that you have to develop over a lot of years, I guess. But yeah, I love it. Like I love my job so much. I honestly have the best job in the world, and I love, you know, I chose a very niche market to work specifically with musicians. I made it really difficult, but my goal was, when I started, was to, you know, exclusively derive my income from music related work, and it took a few years to get to that point. But then once I achieved that, it was just like I adore what I do. Like I love working with musicians. I love working with the artists that I work with, and yeah, like I said, I don't ever take it for granted. So it's it's the best job in the world.
That's awesome. Okay, I am totally. I mean, yeah. I think in the beginning of or you know, before we got on and when we were talking and stuff like that, I said I didn't want to rehash a lot of things that your crew has heard, and if anyone else from my stream has jumped over to your stream or interviews that you've been a part of, I didn't want to kind of rehash the story, but we're gonna approach it from a different way. But before we do that, you sent me some files.
I did.
I got to live the dream for a couple seconds. Well, I mean, for a couple minutes while I was editing. I was like, wow, I should go get a pug right now and put her on my lap right now, because I'm totally feeling Michelle vibes editing these photos. And so that's what we're gonna check out real quick. So one thing that we like to do at the Light Den Academy is we like to do this segment called Edit My Photos. And so this is a segment where viewers can redeem their bolts and for 3,500, and then they will send me like a Dropbox or a Google Photos of like 1 to 5 photos, and then I'll get to edit them, and then they get to come on stream and critique and roast me. Well, not roast. For comedic purposes, but really, totally, you know, to critique me, you know what I mean? And and I tell everybody, you know, I'm not looking for a participation ribbon. I wanna learn. You know what I mean? And so, you know, especially with shots like I haven't shot before or haven't really done ever. So that's really cool. So, did you read Shu's comment?
I saw it. Oh my god.
Yeah, and so she sent me photos. I was super surprised that she did and that she trusted me, and so hopefully I don't butcher these images. And then she's like, "Wow, I'm never gonna do this again."
No, of course not. I was just like, this is awesome. I love doing stuff like this. This is like, yeah, it's really hard for me to edit a lot of the stuff that I do on stream because a lot of the clients that I work for, I can't show stuff until it's released and that. So I like to go back to historical stuff, and you know, that's kind of all I can do sometimes. So this is cool. This is cool that you're getting to look at some of my past work and have a crack.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, shucks, I didn't set up nearly half of the things that I needed to set up. So sorry, chat. It was like, what's going on? Why am I putting up 2 images of myself? Do I love myself that much? No. Okay. All right, here we go. So let's get into this. Well, I do want to become famous.
Yeah, what is going on with that?
Michelle's already famous. Michelle's already famous.
I'm definitely not famous. What?
Yeah. Yep, Allison too. Allison wants to become famous as well. Throws water on the bots. Okay, so let's do this. So we're 30 minutes in. Here we go. We're cooking now. We're going.
Yeah, I don't need sleep now. I'm just going all the way through. We're good.
Yes, sleep is for weaklings.
Weaklings, as Rad says.
All right, so here is one of the photos. Yo, what up, sleeper? That you sent me. Who is this?
So this is a sister combination called the My Sisters. They're both DJs. They're really, really awesome. And I took this particular shot in studio recently because a friend of mine's doing a project kind of on the changing face of Australian music and what those people look like. And it's been like, the Australian music industry has been quite like whitewashed for many years. So there's all these incredible musicians from all these different backgrounds that are really starting to, come through the Australian music scene. And they're so talented and so awesome. And it's really great to do a project that highlights them. And these 2 girls are, 2 girls from that project. So such a pleasure to shoot them. They were like, we did it like a 10-minute shoot. And they also model as well. So they was just like, done. This is great.
Wow. So Linus is saying that this raw is better than anything he's ever produced with edits. Yeah, it's the raw. It's the
raw, yeah.
It's the raw JPEG, because this is a JPEG file, right?
Yeah, I think So I think what happened, I was saying to you when I sent it, so I just started shooting with a Z6 in the studio because my D4 died, and I think it was the first time I ever shot in the studio, and I just obviously forgot to change it to RAW before I shot, so the RAW was in a JPEG, yeah. Love
this rookie over here, chat.
Totally. So, no judgment if you don't get as much out of it as a normal photograph. But anyway, I still love this photo, so.
Okay, so here is your edit. So you turned it into a portrait orientation.
I did.
Why?
I really wanted to focus on the connection between the sisters. And thinking about like potentially how it's going to be used later on down the track, it probably would be portrait orientation. I just wanted to bring all the focus on them. A lot of the other shots that I took, I pretty much shot everything in landscape as I usually do. And a lot of the other shots that I submitted were actually black and white and landscape. But this particular one, there's just a really beautiful connection with them. So I just wanted to crop it in and all the focus on them. So
That's amazing. And so obviously you can see colors pushed and all that good stuff. Did you have to do any like skin correcting or anything like that, or you just pushed it, edited it, and good?
I definitely did some retouching. Like I actually just did this one before, so it's like a 5-minute little retouch.
Yeah. What's up, Midnight? How's it going, brother?
Yeah. Hey, Rush. Nice to see you. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I like my photos to be quite bold and poppy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I often do. They are a bit more contrasty. They're a bit moodier often with the lighting that I choose.
Yeah.
So I do like things. I like shadows where people probably don't usually like shadows, like things like that. I like to create a moodier environment. So
yeah.
There's definitely stuff that I don't know. Some people might see and go, "Oh, this." I would have done this differently or whatever. I have a very like particular style that I really love now, so I kind of roll with it.
Thank you, Tony, for the follow. So okay, that's amazing. And one thing that Aaron just said, love what you did with the darks, with the skin tones, because many people can't handle. And so the reason why I asked that too was when I edited it, I was like, whoa, that really threw off the skin tones. And so I went back and I had to do some corrections as well.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I've been working with rappers pretty much since I started my music photography career. I actually started exclusively shooting rappers, and I've worked with a lot of both African American and African Australian people throughout my career, so I do feel like I know how to light darker skin and really bring out the richness rather than like and also not trying to take away from that. I guess it's something that I'm pretty mindful of. So
well, it'll be very interesting to see what you think of how I did.
Okay, cool.
Because I mean, I've shot some pretty dark-skinned Polynesians, Hawaiians. I don't know if I've ever shot African American. I don't know. I did have a wedding client that was, and so that was their concern when they were asking me in the whole process of booking me for the wedding was, have you ever shot an African American couple before? And I didn't want to lose a client because I didn't want to be like, no, I didn't. I said, I have yet to work with an African American couple, but I have shot some local Hawaiian people with darker skin tone if you would like to see that. And they were like, yeah, we would love to see your work, and so that was like something that was really interesting for me. And so because of COVID, I couldn't book that client. Anyways, so yeah, that was really interesting. That's something that people don't really think about either. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have thought about that before.
Actually, Shu was talking about it on his stream the other day as well. It was really interesting to be involved in that conversation too, when he was talking about learning how to. I think he said he had a conversation with someone about it, and then it kind of changed his whole perspective. So I thought that was really cool as well. Yeah.
Awesome. And okay, so now let's move on to my edit. Oh, one last thing I wanted to say is I know that you light up, you have your own studio set up, you got your lighting. And so when you edit, do you make sure to not change the lighting too much? Like you've lit the photo the way you want in camera, and the way it comes out, or the processing, you don't want it to be too far off.
Yes, I have a really, like I said, kind of specific style to my studio lighting. I have like a one light setup that is like my go-to. It's not what I always use, but it's the one that clients ask for the most. It's kind of like a known style. It's like a thing that I do. So I totally grade. I don't try to add in extra
Yeah.
light sources in post or anything like
Yeah.
that. It's all, For this particular photo, I chose to really focus on them, and I did crop it really tight, but the rest of, it's actually the only one that I did that. The rest of the series I actually left wider and in landscape. But this particular one, I really like the connection between them. So I think I mentioned that earlier. So I did crop it in. I did crop it in a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, let's okay. Gamnus does have a question. Oh, he just asked about the crop.
Yeah, he
okay, I see it.
I asked it earlier, so I just
he did a channel bolt redemption. I can redeem that for you, Linus, because Michelle literally just shared about that. Okay, so here is my edit, and I did take it landscape version.
Oh, cool. Okay, I like this. This is interesting. Yeah, I mean, my comment would definitely be the skin tone, like the skin tone, because you've gone like a cooler edit, and I guess the blacks are a bit faded. It definitely, the skin tones look, I guess, a bit ashy rather than retaining the real richness of their skin tones. But I definitely don't hate it. It's still quite interesting. Obviously, really different, but it's still it's still kind of cool. Still quite interesting.
Yeah,
just the skin tone would be my comment for sure.
Yeah, that's good. And one thing too. So I was editing these late last night, and it was getting late, and so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna mess with the curves. I'm just gonna freaking throw a preset on and then just work it from there. And so when I threw the preset on, their skin was close to the color of this yellow here, and I'm like, whoa, that looks way off, And so I had to get in there, fix the white balance and stuff, and I didn't know if the skin should have been more of that warmer tone, that richer feel. So I dialed it back cooler because I wanted it. I guess I could just err on the side of making it kind of comparable to the original raw file. But one thing I noticed too was these yellow tones in the fur, and the yellow was kind of in the hair, and then the yellow in the background. And so I just took a desaturation. I took an adjustment brush. The only thing that was on it was -100 desaturation, and I just went in there and desaturated the background, her hair, everything right here, and then I had to make sure that I didn't nip the sides and stuff like that. But
cool, awesome. It's so weird to see someone else tackle your work when you've got like such a distinct style. So this is fun. I really love it.
Yeah, and it was cool. And for a second, I was like, damn, dude, this is some Michelle level type work here. But it's right. It's not just the edit. It's definitely the shot as well. It makes you for you. But I was pretty stoked. I liked it. It was fun. And after I got done with it, I was like, oh, this is pretty sick. Okay, cool. Kudos for doing this. It's really nice to see the comparisons like this. Helps to inform my workflow and value work better. Awesome. Cool. Like the cooler tone.
Yes.
All right, on to the next one.
Great.
Who's this? Oh, the delay. I should delay 7 seconds. And then
okay.
Bam.
So this is an artist named Samsara. She's an artist that I've worked with actually quite a few times now on her press shots. We did these, I think, back in January or February. We did basically, I've shown this set on my stream before.
What's up, Rick?
We did we did a bunch of stuff down at Black Rock in Melbourne, which is this amazing location as well. And then we went to a venue called the SB, which is this beautiful venue in Melbourne, and we took some kind of indoor portrait stuff as well. And she's an amazing artist, and this is one of my favorite shots actually from the series that we did that day.
Michelle,
hey,
I have to
Brooke,
apologize.
Brooke as well.
I wish I could offer you a bicky because I'm over here. I'm over here demolishing one right now because it's 5:30 in the morning right now. 5:20 in the morning. For me.
Someone
Kiki
someone
says she
just
hates
said,
me.
Yeah, someone Sleeper said photo ASMR. We're gonna be on the ASMR channel soon.
Michelle, Enraged Badger is stoked to finally catch you, by the way.
Ah,
I'm happy that we got to
awesome.
do this.
Yes, I'm so
Okay.
stoked as well.
So I was editing this and I was just like, where do you even find a set like this? Where do you find the inspiration? So, and that's one of my main questions for photographers. Like, even when I look at shoes photos, and I'm seeing the model in like these beautiful empty houses, you know what I mean? Or like these model houses, like this right here. What's the story in finding this? Did you go to grandma and grandpa's house and be like, this little thing is so beautiful? Or like, did you find the chair from the thrift store? And or what? Like what? How do you find these locations? You know, how do you find that house for the model? I mean, I have ideas, but I think it'd be a good topic to talk about.
That's a great topic. And thanks, Rosh, for the kind words. I just saw that in the chat as well. So a couple of things. I have a stylist that I work with quite frequently. Her name's Corinda. She works with Samsara now. So we had a stylist for this entire shoot. She brings racks and racks and racks and racks of clothes. So what happens is we kind of map out the shoot, and for this one, there was a location that was like on kind of cliff rocks, and then we went to this location, which is the SB. I actually have an existing relationship with this particular venue. I'd done an event there for my film, my documentary. So they knew who I was because we did like a release of my documentary, like a screening at this particular venue. So I had a really great
Thank you, Mr. Red. I appreciate it. Sorry.
That's okay. And so, yeah, I just contacted them and said, hey, there's this local artist. She's really young. There's not like a big budget. Would you, be cool if we shot there? And they were like, yes, like we would be honored, come and basically take over the venue. So we just had to work out hours in terms of just like the opening hours of the venue. We came in before it was open to the public. And yeah, I just work really closely with the stylist. I say, okay, this is my first setup. What do you think will work with this? And we kind of just, pull an outfit and go, yep, this will really work. Then we go on to the next bit. And she's really great. Like, we've worked really close together. So we have this really great relationship where, she'll throw ideas at me and I'll be like, yeah, cool, that's going to work for this. Let's go.
So connections really is what it boils down to.
Oh, yeah.
And so
totally. Connections
with all kinds of people. So like, this was your dresser, and you so-and-so and so-and-so from the last photo shoot, and you met this Okay, so how about this? Say you got client and you came up with like a fresh vision or a fresh shoot for something that you've never done, and now you're looking for a location that none of your connections have access to, or you don't know where to start. Where would you go from there? I mean, would it still be connections? Would it still be like, asking people that or have you just gone out on your own and like found an abandoned warehouse and you called the owner of the warehouse kind of thing?
Yeah, I've done all of those things. So I probably wouldn't even call that owner if it was abandoned. I'd just rock up. I've definitely.
I'm sorry. I'm making this bigger on stream, by the way. Chat, I'm making this bigger because we got a lot of empty space that isn't being used, and so. All right.
Yeah, so sometimes I will scout for locations for a specific shoot. So I'll just literally go out driving and find something that I think will be suitable. Sometimes I just use Google and look for specific venues that might really work, and then contact the venue and say, hey, I want to do this shoot. Would you be down? I'm in a fortunate position now that I've got like a really strong folio. So if I say, this is my work, this is the artist that I'm working with, are you cool if we shoot? Like, I would say 99.9% of the time now they say yes. But back in the day, before I had all of those connections, it was all about like finding, like abandoned warehouses, finding spots that you didn't really have to have permission to go shoot, cool suburbs that have great backdrops, and making use of what you can. So yeah, there's always a way, if that makes sense.
Okay. There's always a way. And so,
Yeah.
like, I'm thinking for me, because, because for me, some of my work that comes my way is through GoDaddy, which is like local businesses and stuff. Another avenue in which I get work is through Shutterstock. And so they'll send me assignments and they'll say, hey, we'll pay you an X amount of dollars for 40 shots. And they get real detailed with the brief. They tell you what kind of talent they want, what shots to do, what shots not to do. They tell you the venue and all that stuff. And so for me, a lot of assignments are like skincare assignments, and they want those like modern, bright bathrooms. And I only know so many people that have modern, bright bathrooms before it starts to get redundant. And so my next train of thought are hotels, and just checking in with them and seeing, hey, is there a specific rate? Is there a little deal we can work out where I don't have to rent a room, but maybe like half the day or something like that? Is that something that you've done before?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, like anytime you can get something for like free of charge, that's always a vibe. And it depends on the venue and it depends on the budget of the client as well. Like sometimes if you're doing a bigger shoot, the client has a budget, like a location fee budget. But often it really is like so many times if I get really stuck, I will post on, say, my Facebook where like there's a lot of different people from different walks of life where I'll say, hey, I'm really stuck. I need a
Facebook.
venue like
you just put the line out on Facebook.
Yeah, totally. Or I need a car that looks like this, or I need something, and like that always works. There's always somebody.
So I could put it out there like I'm looking for a bright and beautiful bathroom aesthetic chat, or like Facebook people, can do you have any suggestions? Mr. Red says people sleep on Fiverr, and you get the most easiest product shoots there. Well, Mr. Red, are you talking like you can find locations to shoot at on Fiverr? Because we're looking for like locations on you keep the tables?
Maybe he means props.
Okay, for props. Okay. That's good.
That's also
cool.
a good tip. I don't think we have Fiverr here in Australia, but we've got like Gumtree and stuff like that, so it's probably similar.
Okay. So have you ever done it to where you do find like an old looking house and you just roll up and it's grandpa been living there for 70 years and you're just like, I just love your house location, I'm a photographer, can we do a shoot here? Have you ever done something like that?
I haven't. It's always come through some type of connection, like a person that I know usually, but like I also know like just a lot of people now, so it's and like a lot of people are in the creative industry and like super willing to help out, or know of a great venue, or so it's definitely a lot easier these days to find the right types of things.
Well, usually when you walk up to the house and you're going up the driveway, the people are freaking out already because like, oh my god, it's Michelle G. Hunter. She's here. She wants to do a photo shoot, and Ruel's probably here as well. I don't know. Sorry, that was like, what kind of accent was that? Okay.
I don't know. That was a weird accent.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, there was a shoot that I was a part of. Well, I was really just mainly the driver. So this video production team from Oahu was doing an assignment for Time and Leisure because Maui had won the best island in Hawaii, I think, like the best island in Hawaii or something like that. And so they knew of me through Instagram. They're like, hey dude, it looks like you know a lot about Maui. Can we hire you to drive us around, blah, blah, blah. Ended up having a great relationship. So one of the shots that Time and Leisure wanted was they were doing the best of Maui, and so they had a hotel they wanted to highlight, which was Hotel Wailea. And so I got to go with them to this hotel, and it's, I'm pretty sure this is how the business is, but the client relations or marketer relations person can't come out, And you know, they showed us everything. They showed us the best of the property, treated us like, oh, do you want this? Can you want, you know, you want that? Yeah, if you come back, we'll hook you up with this and that. And so, in that moment, you know, I networked, you know, and I told him, hey, you know, I'm not a part of, thank you so much, Realm Chat, for the follow. I told him, you know, I'm not a part of this guy's video team. I'm just the driver, but I'm also a local photographer. And the guy's like, oh, no way. That's so cool. And then it was like, yeah, man, if you ever want to do a staycation, here's my card, blah, blah, blah. And I have yet to hit him up for that. But that's another, I guess, network opportunity, right? To be like, hey, I met you from the Time Leisure assignment, the other thing. I've got an assignment going on. You have any hookups for like a nice hotel room that I can shoot in? Right? Like,
yeah,
that's how
for sure.
it would work?
Totally.
Okay.
Also, what up to Realm? That's my friend Maggie. Hi, how are you?
Alrighty, Mr. Red, dropping some good stuff in there. I love it, chat. And chat, by the way, so the way that we go about this is, if you guys have good information that you want to put in the chat, by all means, go for it. You know, by all means, go for it. But as soon as you start, yeah, never mind. Won't go there. I trust you guys. I can spam. All right, here we go. Michelle, here's your edit.
Okay.
Tell us what was the mood, what was the vibe, what were you shooting for?
So this edit is very indicative of the direction that I've gone recently. I've kind of worked on a new color grade that's quite rich in tones, and even skin saturation's a little bit higher, and there's a real pop to it. And so, like, a lot of my portraits have this particular color grade. I just really loving it at the moment. Like I said, yeah, there's a real richness to the tones that I really love. So yeah, that's where I went with this one. Yeah,
that's an amazing suit, by by I can imagine if it's itchy or like if it's comfortable for the woman. Okay.
Well, yeah, Sam looks amazing in everything. So this is like a strapless, like, cat suit thing. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She looks amazing.
So there's that, and then here is the edit that I did.
Delay. Oh, interesting. You're really liking the more faded tones. Is that your?
I told you I was editing this at like midnight, and I was lazy. I was so lazy I didn't even bother with the nip either.
Yeah, I got the nip out in. I mean, it was more for Twitch than anything else. But I'm not offended by nipples, but this is probably a bit light on for it's my particular style.
Yeah, like I'm not looking for participation ribbons. If you think it sucks, tell me it sucks. I'm totally fine with that.
I'm definitely not telling you that you suck. I think the blacks are cloudy, which is something I used to do all the time, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I used to make my blacks
way
really
ahead of the trend here, because Mr. Red said this is definitely concurrent with modern advertising. So if you're doing this 5 years ago, Michelle, no wonder you blew up.
There was a bit of a trend in music photography to do that kind of cloudier blacks, and it's really gone the other way now. Like, it's a lot about saturation and contrast
and contrast and stuff. Interesting.
Yes.
No worries, Allison. No worries.
Yeah, I think we know what you mean, Allison.
One of the things that when I was editing this that I was paying attention to was I was like, at least the wood here, like I was kind of trying to keep the wood at least the same. The cushion was real yellow in the raw, and so I kind of dialed that back a bit, and that definitely dialed back the yellow in the suit as well. And then I, pushed the highlights in the window a lot. I can't remember if you let me pull up ours side by side now.
Yeah. Cool.
So I pushed the highlights a lot because I didn't want to see anything that was outside the window, and so that feel of like the bright light coming in, I guess that would be the reason why I kind of brightened up the image a lot and brought up the shadows, and as Midnight says, and you said, crushed the black.
Crush the blacks, yeah.
And so I don't think I left the grain in on this one. I think I took it out, and I just kind of wanted that filmy look. And that was one thing Allison was saying last week when she was on, and I had edited her photos, and we talked about the reason why she does fades like that, and she's like, I want people to know that I touched the photo, you know what I mean? And so like adding a fade kind of adds that like cinematic look, as if like, oh yeah, someone really did touch it, if they can't pick up on like normal tones, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, now that I'm looking at it side by side, I can even see like the carpet on the ground and the wall more, and stuff like that. So huge differences with this one.
Again, like this again, it's like this a lot of this comes down to personal style, and that's why it's hard to like critique and why I would never say that sucks or whatever, because like we all have our ways, and the way that we view a photo, it's like that's our voice as artists. So like I said, at the moment I'm going through a style that is richer and has a bit more depth and is moodier. Like that's my style at the moment, so everything that I'm editing has that kind of vibe, I guess. So
okay, that's awesome. No value judgment there, just in Michelle makes her look like silk, Aaron looks like cotton. That's cool.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and so like when you say your style, so you could essentially brand yourself and your style doing this faded look across your website and hope that you can bring in clients that want that. So that's really what you're saying here, because right now this is your jam, this is your jive, this is why your clients come and find you. They want this Michelle, they want this edit.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yep.
Great. Moving on.
And so
one thing too, hopefully I try and do a good job of just really breaking it down to simple observations and things like that, because there's in the Light Down Academy we I know across everywhere, but we do have a lot of young people who are just starting out, and so I like to just get real basic like that, because that's how we think, that here's Michelle, automatically all your edits are fire, so mine just might suck, you know what I mean? So if I bring up that terminology, that's kind of what I'm getting at, so that we can talk about that and get to that kind of thinking, because a lot of people do. So
totally. I totally understand that, and everybody goes through that stage as well. So
Ooh, and we're gonna talk about that after this, right?
Cool.
Okay, so I was really stoked to edit this, because this shot raw, if Gamnus was still here, Linus, if you're still here, he's probably like, oh my god, this photo is so much better than anything I've done edited, blah blah blah. But the whole like lighting and the smoke and everything, he's here, is so freaking good, like so good. So I was wondering how I might take this shot, and I didn't look at your edits, because I didn't want to copy, and I didn't want what's that thing, the Freudian slip, even though I'm editing and I've seen your thing, I don't want your edit to come out in my edit. So so here we go. I'm gonna bring up your edit now, and this is what's on your website.
So this was actually, and Matt's just said, this is G Flip, he's recognized this particular artist, and Alison just asked about the red smoke. And so basically it is actually white fog that I've lit with 2 red LEDs that are sitting on the ground. And I've used this technique a few times with different colors, so it's really effective. But there was a whole theme for G Flip. This is actually for the cover of NME magazine. So this is actually a really big deal. And the whole theme was destruction and fire. And we did some fire shots where we lit her drumsticks, and like there was it was basically like I think a 10 or 12 page spread.
Wow.
And I was really stoked and really excited to shoot this because they kind of gave me creative freedom within the realm of, you know, destruction and stuff like that. So
Real
it was
quick,
super,
Michelle.
super fun. Yeah.
I don't know what's behind you on the stairs. There's a little light. Is that Jetta? Is that Jetta?
No, Jetta's down here. That's just a stair light, like the lights that go up to the roof.
Oh, okay. Because so the thing is like when you know how you shine light or whatever, and the eyes reflect.
Yeah, you thought that was Jetta just like on the stairs, like sitting.
Yeah, or a ghost. You know, you never know.
I think our house was a bit new to be haunted, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or fortunately. Yeah.
All right, because we all know streams are haunted, right? We know Mikey streams haunted for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you saw the clip, but in the Twitch community Discord, Mikey, I clipped it. It was so weird. Mikey's stream was on till like 3 a.m, and I go to his stream, and it's just dark, and I just hear like a. I don't know if he was snoring or what, but you can kind of see it's all blotchy and stuff. It's dark, and then all of a sudden, the thing turns off. So I'll have to send the clip because I clipped it, and it's in the Twitch Discord. It's pretty gnarly. And so we're trying to get Mikey to set up a ghost cam on his stream to see what it is really. It could be him sleepwalking, but it was 3 a.m. I didn't see anyone come up to his computer, and his stream just ends. It was the weirdest thing.
That's so weird.
Maybe before the stream ends, I'll find the clip, and then back to the amazing photo. Okay. Punchy goodness. Okay, so I have a question, Michelle.
Yes. Yep.
So, when you get tasked, G-Flip's like, yo, Michelle, create something creative AF for me, please. Are you sitting there and you're just like, what are we going to do? Or does his manager tell you the creative direction?
Yes.
And then I have a follow-up question. Go.
Okay. So for this particular shoot, there was a couple of people involved. Obviously, it was G-Flip, and she spoke to her manager and said, I would like her. They came up with a theme of destruction. And then NME have a creative director who worked with me and said basically what is logistically possible in your studio. And so when he sent me a bunch of references that included things like fire and graffiti, and there was a whole other graffiti element that we did. So I was like, okay, I definitely can do something like this. I definitely can't do that. I can do, and then we came up with a plan for that particular shoot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So you weren't like getting off the phone with G-Flip and then you were just like, Jarvis, what do you think we should do for this stream? And so and then he was just like, why don't you go to Walmart and pick up some LED panels that I saw and maybe put that on the ground with some smoke. It wasn't like that.
No, Jarvis is my husband, by the way. So Prod was just asking, like, Jarvis? No, and like sometimes I do definitely brainstorm with him, but for this particular one, like there was a lot of direction from, like I said, the creative director. It totally depends. Like sometimes it's collaborative, sometimes the artist really knows what they want. It's
Yeah. Okay. You mean the effing player got banned? No. Did I say effing? The Fortnite player, not effing player. Okay. So now you got these LED lights. Did you have these LED lights, or did you have to go out to Walmart and buy these? Who do you usually buy your gear through? Is it like Amazon or what? Or is it connections? You just reach out to your network and say, I'm looking for LED lights.
No, my husband and I own some LEDs because he works in the industry as well. But these LEDs that I use for this particular shoot, they're actually parkans. They're LED parkans, like stage lights. And I've got a place
gels.
that I always go. Yeah, like they actually don't have gels. They're actually LEDs that you can change the temperature on them.
Okay.
They're super cool and they're really powerful. So the color is way brighter than the LEDs that I usually use. Yeah,
Nice.
DJ lights, exactly like that. Kiki just said that in the chat. So I often hire those for shoots, and they're like $20 each to hire or something. Like they're nothing. So I got there's a like literally a DJ hiring place that I go. It's really close to my studio, and they know me. And I'm like, hey, I need the Parkan scan. Can I just grab a couple? And yeah. And I've got a fog machine.
It doesn't cost you.
So.
It doesn't cost you.
It costs me, but I can pass it on to the client. So, if there's a cost associated, that's a client cost.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. This is good stuff. I'm glad. I know this. Maybe for some of you guys, like I know that, but I mean, you're unlocking information in my mind. I'm sure there's people in the chat that are loving this. So
yeah,
great.
Hopefully.
What is the sausage sizzle?
Sausage sizzle at Bunnings. So, do you guys have Bunnings in America? That's a thing. That's a worldwide thing.
We have Denny's.
So Bunnings is like
IHOP.
No. Bunnings is like a. How do you explain Bunnings, Matt? It's like a shop that you go to. It's like a big warehouse, and you get everything that you need for like building and home renovation.
Costco. Home Depot.
Like probably
Home
more like
Depot and Lowe's. Wow. Bunnings sounds like a diner, like pancakes and eggs and bacon kind of diner. You know what I mean?
When you go on the weekend, they always have a sausage sizzle at the front. They'll be like, some community charity thing is raising money, and it's like really famous. It's like really Australian and really famous to go get a sausage out the front of Bunnings.
A sausage sizzle. That's definitely on the list now if I ever make it out there.
It's literally just a sausage in bread with some onion and some sauce, ketchup. And it's like, it'll cost like
freaking delicious.
It's so good, yeah.
One guy flew his drone to get a sausage with COVID when COVID hit. Wow.
When COVID hit, yeah. It's like, honestly, like when they have not been able to do sausage sizzles because of COVID, and it's devastating. Like it's the best
it's
part.
It's devastating to everybody. Where's my damn sausage sizzle? Okay. Here's my edit.
Okay.
Not much of a difference.
Oh, cool. Yeah, not much difference at all. It's pretty close.
I was thinking of taking it weirdly and trying to play with the different hues and stuff, but I was like, okay, you know what? I want to play to the strengths of the image, which is that red and orange, And so even if it came close to yours, then I'll do it. And
that's cool.
So we won't spend too much time on this slide. We're going to spend time now comparing the photos.
Yep. Cool. Yes, Alison, that's true. It's our biggest COVID issue.
They can't get to the sausage sizzle.
Yeah, they're super similar. Just the hue of the red is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I generally like my reds to be a bit more orange, so that totally makes sense. But they're very, very similar.
Yeah, and
super cool.
And I mean, I didn't really do hardly anything with the exposure because the lighting was so good. Like when you have those shots where like the lighting is like what you want, then it's like so easy. Then you just gotta mess with the colors or whatever. But yeah, like I said, chat, I didn't look at Michelle's edits prior to this, so other than the color,
it's very close. Super cool.
Pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. It was really cool. Black's a little lifted, possibly.
Yeah, maybe it's touch.
A little bit. The red haziness over here is a bit more seen versus like the orange glow right here is kind of confined in this area, and then the red is kind of up there. So yeah, I mean, you know what? During doing all of these edit my photo things, everybody across the board when I edit their photos is always like, dude, you take it way lighter. And I do. It's so weird. I don't know. It's just kind of what I do, I guess. I make these brighter.
Style.
Yeah.
That's
so
okay.
that's Michelle's,
not a bad thing.
right? Moody and punchy. Moody and punchy.
That's totally my style. So yeah.
All right. On to the next one. Yes, I do edit a bit more wedding stuff.
Yes.
Makes sense?
exactly right. So you would definitely, they would be edited more.
I
And your
like
wedding
this
stuff
shot.
is beautiful. So yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that. I was stoked on this shot. It was really fun, and I definitely took it in a direction. But first, tell us this shot. What happened? This was the story behind it, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so this is Ruel. This is an artist that I work with quite frequently. I do all of his press shots, and I also tour with him. So this was a big festival that we shot. We did in January called, what is the festival called? I've gone blank. Someone in the chat will probably remind me. But anyway, it's a festival in Australia, a Laneway Festival. This was the Melbourne show. So this is like my hometown show. And yeah, I love this shot. This is actually one of my favorites from the set. You get a great perspective on the energy that Ruel brings when he performs, and you get a hint also of how big the crowd is, because it's an enormous crowd.
I didn't know this was Ruel. And when you sent me the files, my first thought was like, where's the Ruel shot? Like, what? You know, and then I looked at the files and I saw it was him. And the one thing that impressed me was the energy that he had. You know what I mean? Because he's, I don't want to say he's got like the baby face or whatever, but to see him like this, and then I was like, dude, this is sick, because like I love that energy, and it looks like he's just like having the best time. So
he's such an amazing performer. Like, he really, really brings it, and it's like such a pleasure to shoot every one of his shows. But there's a shot that I use for my Zoom call, which is basically me standing in the middle of the stage on a riser and looking. I've seen that, I take a photo of I took the photo of him, and it's looking out to the crowd, and it shows how it's probably, I don't know, maybe 30,000 people there. So it's a big show.
Big show. Okay, let's bring up your edit.
Cool.
Timeless. A moment in time. Timeless. This is right. You captured the energy, and I recall you talking about how even with your wedding photos, you want your photos to be timeless and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I feel, like iconic, I guess.
Yes, that's why I have such a passion with photography. I'm really drawn to timeless imagery, so stuff that doesn't date, and I often think about that when I'm grading as well. So we are freezing a moment in time that will never be again, and that people can remember, and hopefully it brings up a feeling if they were in the crowd or whatever. So like, I take my job like super seriously in that, like I'm super passionate about it and making lasting memories, I guess. Yeah
So Kiki saying time is a social construct. You sound like Radical Ace. I feel like Radical Ace would say something like, we say something like, oh man, I'm so tired, I need sleep. And then Radical Ace is like, sleep through weaklings. And then we're like, oh, let's just talk about time and timelessness. And Radical Ace, time is a social construct. And now Kiki's there too. So Kiki, you found your sister, or Radical Ace, you found your sister in Kiki. Asya loves the black and white. Mr. Red's never done concert work, but I'm sure he's wishing that he could. I wish I could do concert work. I think it'd be so fun to have the freedom to go around the stage, to get up on stage, to just have the freedom to work. I'm sure you have your limits, and you can't get up too close or whatever. Right? Is that true? Or how close can you get up without without throwing off the show?
Yeah, it's all about two things. One is respect for the artist and the space. Like, the stage is like a sacred place for the band and the artist.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But I am given free reign. I've been working with Ruel for nearly 4 years. So like, he's very comfortable. He's very comfortable with me being anywhere, but I would never encroach on. I try and be as stealth as possible. I don't want the fans to really see me as much as possible. So I try and work from the sides or from the back, usually trying to be as low as possible. But, sometimes they spot me. So. Okay.
So,
yes, all black, Kiki. Always in black.
Bucket list opportunity. Would love to shoot. Brooke would love to shoot. Here's an idea, Michelle, and this is for you and your crew. And maybe you've been thinking about this, maybe you haven't. Imagine.
I know what you're gonna say, and we're already doing it.
Okay, tell me.
So I've said for anyone in the crew, if we're touring, they can like basically either be a sidekick or just come and shoot the show.
Good morning, Flo.
With me if I'm touring in their city. So I'll get them a pass and they can come shoot the show next time I'm touring.
That's a great idea, but that's what I wasn't gonna get to.
You wasn't gonna get to. Yeah, go.
I was gonna say you should ask Ruel to give you his sweaty used concert shirt after his show, and then use that as a way to attract viewers and subscribers.
No,
I'm just kidding. No, I really was vibing with that. I think it'd be so cool,
God.
Michelle, to do an amazing feature, to feature one of your crew members, to get them out to a show, to freaking celebrate them and let them shoot the show with you. That's freaking awesome.
That's that's one of the best things about joining, being part of the community. Most of them are aspiring music photographers, and if I can help like in any way and give them an opportunity that usually is quite difficult now, like to get to shoot a Ruel show now, you would have to have a press pass, but I'm basically responsible for all of that, so I can approve whoever I want, so I can approve my crew and say come on in.
Flo, there's the website for Michelle, and this is who we are having on today. So awesome. And so you need a press pass, you need all that. I think it'd be an amazing, I can't wait to see what happens with that. And
yes, Brooke said only if you wear join the crew merch. That is my only condition. Buy my merch and you get a free
Aaron
pass.
is apparently the type of guy that messages you for used socks. No comment.
Yeah, that was his first DM to me. It was like, hey, can I get your socks?
No?
I'm crying, oh my god.
We don't wear shoes out here, by the way, Michelle. We don't wear shoes in Hawaii. It's slippers all day, every day.
Slippers, amazing.
Yeah, we call them slippers.
Like
we don't call them flip-flops. You come to Hawaii, you call them flip-flops, and you're gonna be targeted. Thongs?
Yeah.
Slippers. Okay, all right, on to my edit.
Okay.
Socks
cool.
and sandals all the way. Yikes. Ta-da!
And go. Oh, cool. That's awesome. There's kind of a dreamy vibe to this. This is really cool. I like it. Again, it's like quite a lot brighter. You can obviously see that it's a really beautiful day. And very cool. Okay, very 70s feel. Maggie just said in the chat. Yeah, that's true.
The inspo, I guess, or the thing is okay. So the whole set, I was just running through my presets, okay, because again, I was being late and lazy. But when I clicked on this tone, I immediately thought of Tokyo. And I know that he had been to Japan, and even though the show isn't in Tokyo, that was, I guess, the kind of feel that I was going for, was like that kind of Tokyo Diana lomography type of feel with the film, that film 70s look. And so that's where it kind of came from. And I had to let the orange shirt pop. You know what I mean? Like you wear a shirt like that, bro, you gotta let that pop. And so if this was my only shot and edit of him, there it is. And so you can see the grain, all that stuff. I kind of adjusted the crop a little. Let me bring him side to side. And there's one observation that I made that I kind of didn't pay attention to when I was editing. And so as you can see, I've cropped it up a lot. One thing I love about your original shot and what you did with your edit was you kept the shadow.
And
the shadow elongates this image. Foos, thank you so much for the 2 months, my friend. But the shadow, to me, now that I look back at it it really like kind of just draws me to Ruel at the center of the stage.
Yeah,
at the
I would
center of the
agree
stage,
with that in
and
terms
so
of the composition.
yeah, and where I've cut it off, it doesn't do that at all. And now he's just right here, and it's just an okay shot. And so I feel like maybe if I had to re-edit this, I probably wouldn't crop it up so much. You know.
Cool. Yeah,
But
I liked
anyways.
what you were saying about the oranges too. I should have put an example of what I did with the color edits, but my color edits for and someone said something about presets, and I like use presets for everything. I develop presets for when I'm touring. It makes things really fast. So like some people are dead against it. I'm about fast, efficient. How do I get through 1,000 photos in an hour? Like, gotta bang these out. So it's all about efficiency. So I develop presets before I go on tour. And that would be my base, and then I would kind of tweak from there. But the preset for this particular tour was very punchy, quite saturated. Everything was really poppy, but also contrasty. So different to your edit in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot, I just forgot what I was about to say. Okay, so one thing, and I didn't realize this until I started streaming. Really, it wasn't even really till I met you, Michelle, because I never really knew a music photographer, let alone a music photographer who's accomplished as yourself, who is touring and with this amazing artist. But I didn't realize that music photographers were so heavy on presets.
Yes.
Like wedding photographers were. I didn't realize that. I didn't make that connection.
Yeah.
I thought wedding photographers were really the only ones who were, batch editing with presets and stuff like that. And
the issue is we're doing it so if we have a show, and like Maggie's in the chat, Ruel and Maggie's in the chat, she shoots a lot of music as well. But like if we're on tour, then the night of as soon as we finish, I go straight into editing. And everyone usually goes to bed, so I'm still editing. So I've got to get through the 1,000 photos that I shot before the next night or the next show. So it's all about efficiency, and the most efficient way is to get a great preset. I have, probably about 4 or 5 that I use for each tour. And it's a base. It's like, you slap it on, that's where you start, and then you still tweak every photo, but you wouldn't want to start from scratch every time. That would take you hours. So it's all about how much sleep can I get? What's the most efficient? How can I deliver these to the artist really quickly so he can post them as well? So it's, there's all those things come into play. And I think every music photographer that I know uses presets, and we're not afraid to say it. So.
Gypsy J uses them a ton with motorsports. I could imagine that as well.
Yeah,
with
totally.
motorsports.
Yeah.
So cool. So,
yes.
I mean, for me, in real time, my mind is ever since Twitch, and I'm sure the community, the chat can agree that, having our worlds opened up to be able to connect with people from across the way. I mean, we got all kinds of people from around the world, different shoots and stuff like that. So really cool. And I think I don't know if it was Allison or someone else said it, but I had mentioned that this is the most I've ever networked with somebody. I mean, this is the most I've ever networked with photographers in my life. Yes, honestly.
Yeah,
and
I think
felt
we've spoken about that too.
Convicted. I felt super convicted and stuff. So I started reaching out to people who are local more on Instagram lately, and maybe I'll pop my head into the Maui Camera Club.
Yes.
Here and just say hello, even though I'm the youngest by 20 years, but maybe make more effort to do that, because I mean honestly, chat, moving forward with how everything is in the world, I know live stream is going to become a bigger part of our daily lives. It's going to be something that's normal. That's how I feel like. But having the connections one-on-one with people where you are in your local community, there's no replacement for that. And I feel like a lot of the obstacles in life, a lot of things that are keeping us from our dreams or the work that we want to pursue, could be unlocked through relationships we have with people locally. What do you think about that?
Yes. I mean, I think I've had this conversation with you, so I definitely agree with that. I'm really big on relationship building, and I mean, I call it friendship. I don't really call it networking, but I've always immersed myself in all of the communities, whether it's been via Facebook group or physically being at lots of shows and showing up. But like, I think I've mentioned before, but like, in the music photography community, like if you can't do a job, then you refer it to your friend. So it's great to have lots of other people that you know and trust that can do that job for you, and you only know that through, you know, having relationships with them. And I definitely agree that that's been my favorite part of Twitch, is to kind of extend that and make so many friends in places that I have never been before or have heard of, and this community has been so amazing. It's changed my life. It has been a lifeline during this particular moment when I can't physically shoot. So I'm super grateful for finding our little hub of people, like people like yourself and people like Shu and Rush and Alison and all the people that, and Matt, I already feel a really genuine connection with everyone. And the thing that I'm the most excited about, I was saying this today in someone's stream. I think I might have said it in Russia's stream, but I was like, I'm most excited about when we can travel and there can be like a Twitch photography meetup somewhere and we can all hang out. Like, I would be so cool. Oh my God.
Where's the mutual location? Is it Hawaii? Is it Hawaii? I don't know.
Oh my God. It's 100% Hawaii. That would be amazing. I've never been to Hawaii, so yeah.
Don't worry, chat. Yeah. Don't worry, chat. We ain't singing right now. We still got some more things to do.
I'm here for the songs, but yeah, I mean, I'm genuinely excited for that moment when we can all meet and hang out, and like, yeah, the people here are just awesome. Yeah. So
I want to say thank you for allowing me to edit some of your photos. It was really a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna clip it and post it on YouTube, just the section of like the editing photos part. Cool. So one thing, Michelle, now if you want to come back, are we doing this again or what? What's going down?
Yes. Well, yes. I mean, we have spoken about maybe potentially doing something more frequent. So I would definitely be back.
Okay. So I'm going to bring you back soon, maybe next month. Soon. Or maybe not next month, maybe in 2 months. But I'm going to put together 4 photos for you to edit as well.
Cool.
And then you can edit, and then I can tell you what sucks. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But
amazing. Yeah.
Cool. So let's move on now, because there was a question that I wanted to ask, but before we do that, I need to use the restroom. I drank all my water so quickly, and people weren't even spamming the hydrate button. So, chat, have a great conversation with Michelle. I will be right back.
Through because I saw some people that said some stuff, so I'm gonna okay. Maggie said, we talk about this so often, especially in music photography, and maybe it's the most important thing, being nice and being a good hang. Yes, being a good hang for music photographers, I think, is probably the most important thing. Just being like a chill person that you can just like hang out with, not be precious about much, I think. Gamney said, I would like to be able to trade in my bolts for inspiration and passionate Aaron talk. Yes. That's funny. Come to London. That could be a vibe. Yeah, I definitely think Hawaii could be great for the meetup though. I just haven't been there, so. Oh yeah, New Zealand. Globe Beat and Aaron, we've spoken about doing a Join the Crew, a New Zealand meetup for those who might be interested in that. How am I feeling staying up so late? I had a nap, Asia. I had a nap at like 9:30, like 9:30 to like 11. So I'm fine. I'm like totally awake. And ready to continue the chat. I mean, I don't know how much longer Aaron wants me to stay on, but I'm here for as long as he wants me. How far away is that cheap? Oh, for how far? At what? For how far? Can I not read maybe because it's so late? I don't even know how much it is to get to Hawaii. I haven't been before. Naps for the win. Yes. Oh, there you go. I just saw what that relates to. $400 round trip to Hawaii. I don't think it would be that much. I think it would be probably like $4,000 from Australia, but whatever. We'll work it out. Yes, it probably is a 21-hour flight from... I wonder how far it is from Australia. It's like 14 hours to LA. I don't know how much it would be to go to Hawaii. I start calling those connections. That's dollary dues. Matt, have you been to Hawaii? Do you know how much it is? I don't know. I mean, we can't go anywhere at the moment. I don't know. People are saying that maybe we won't be able to fly out of the country until like 2022. So that is depressing.
I'm gonna have to get you guys some goodie bags when you come to make it worth the $2,000 plane ticket.
Oh my god, goodie bags! Here for the goodie bags.
It would contain thongs, towels, thongs, and sunscreen. No, I don't know. Just kidding. Okay, so
I've got like eyeliner on my face. I can see now.
You're getting so tired, aren't you?
No, I'm actually not. It's wild. I don't feel tired at all.
Prod,
I just can
send
see
me some.
I can see eyeliner on my face, and it's like really annoying.
Okay, so I have a question, and now let's get real, Michelle. Can we get real here? Like,
okay.
Can we just open it up and just get real?
Okay. Where are we going?
Okay, so and I've said before, if I've just kind of passed by your profile on Instagram, my immediate thoughts are you're just loving life, you're enjoying life, you are doing well with your work, and I don't see behind the scenes. I just see your highlight reel. Basically, that's what Instagram is, right? The highlight reels of our lives.
Yes.
We've chosen the best moments of our work. We've chosen the best moments in our lives to share. Now, I got to ask you, Michelle, what were some of the hardest moments that you've been through? And when I mean hardest moments, have you ever felt, I don't know, what's the word? Discouraged? Mm-hmm. Have you ever compared yourself to someone that made you feel like you don't do a good job with your work, to where you feel like maybe even question, like, why do you even do photography in the first place?
Yeah, I definitely have those moments. I mean, I told you my like full story the other day about how I even came to photography, but I had a like catastrophic personal like disaster thing happen, like a business go completely wrong, and my husband and I lost a lot of money, and it was incredibly devastating. Probably one of the hardest things I've ever been through in my life, that actually led me to photography. And I think it's one of the reasons that it like worked for me. And I went professional, I went full time within 6 months, because I almost like didn't have an option, to be honest. Like I had to make it work because I had just
in
been
6
through
months
something.
from just picking up the camera, in 6 months you went to full-time work. And so what does that mean? Does it mean you're bringing in money that could replace a salary, or like what?
It definitely couldn't replace a very big salary in the first year. I think I earned like $18,000 in the first year, which isn't like
18,000 in the first year.
comparatively where I came from, which I came from a very high paying kind of corporate job. So, but my husband had faith, and I had some friends that saw that I had a natural ability, and they were really encouraging, and I just threw myself into it. And it really clicked quickly. So within, you know, probably like 2 or 3 years, I was earning like what you would say a, you know, decent salary was. So,
yeah.
But it was all in. Like, I lived, breathed photography. I was doing, you know, I definitely shot over 100 shows in my first year. I was at every show. I was like getting to know every single person. If I wasn't shooting the show, I was going to gigs. I just immersed myself in everything to do with photography. I was shooting my friends' weddings. I was basically anything that anybody would hire me for at that point.
Yeah.
To earn money at the start. So it was all in. And like I said, I kind of didn't really have an option. I didn't feel like I had an option because I tried to go back to, you know, part-time work or whatever after this business failed and stuff. And it was just like soul destroying. I'm like,
so Mr. Red just commented a great thing, a great statement. The imposter syndrome will hit you hard. So did you ever feel that when you just started doing photography and you started picking up weddings, or you started picking up different types of work, and then you felt like, I'm not a wedding photographer, or I'm not a music photographer? Did you ever feel that imposter syndrome?
That's such a good question. And I, when I had my husband on my stream, we spoke about this. My husband is my biggest like champion, and also has really influenced the way that my mind works, and the self-belief that comes from like what I can do and achieve. And he doesn't really allow that, not in his thinking. Wow. and not in mine. So to be honest, I haven't really ever felt an imposter syndrome. I've definitely felt moments. I've had a couple of knockbacks where, you know, people.
Not quite yet, Mr. Red. Not quite. Almost there.
Yeah, I've had a few moments where, I definitely felt like, I remember a very specific moment where I was shooting for a quite well-known group, a hip-hop group, and the band actually approached me direct and said, hey, we love your work, can you please shoot this show? They got me a pass to the show, and I shot the show. And then afterwards, I just sent them the low-res files. So when I wasn't paid back in the day, I would just shoot low-res files. And so their management was like, hey, can you please send through all the high res? And I was like, hey, like, no, I wasn't paid for this. You know, I was happy to do the low res. And he sent me this email that like, it nearly broke me. Like, it was so.
Whoa.
It was basically
he didn't fold and was like, you're right. Let me pay you. I was expecting that.
No. It was basically like, how dare you? Like, do you know who we are? It is a privilege to shoot for us. You know, and in that situation, like, I actually folded, and I would never do that now. Like, I would definitely stand my ground. This was a long time ago, but it made me question everything. Like, I was like, bro, I didn't feel appreciated. And that was really hard at that point. But then something really amazing happened the next month, and I did a trip to New York. And I worked with one of my favorite rappers of all time, which is Pharoah Monch. And I also worked with Raekwon from Wu-Tang Clan. And I also worked with Talib Kweli, and like all these amazing artists that I've been like, you know, obsessed with my whole entire life. And I was kind of like, I came back and I was like, oh, fuck you. Like, whatever. Okay. You know?
Let me just back up here. So how far along into your photography journey did you receive this letter?
An email, yeah. It was probably like, it was 2014. So that would have been 3.5, 4 years. Yeah.
3.5, 4 years into photography, which really isn't that long of a time, and it just depends on
actually,
like how much work you've been doing. You know, you're still kind of somewhat considered a newbie, you know, I guess you'd say, maybe. You're still finding your way in photography, because it takes a while to find your niche and your genre. At this time that you received the letter, did you, Mr. Red asked the question of like, when did you decide to do concert photography? Was it that 3 years in? Was it when you received that letter? And then
it was like from the start, pretty much. Like,
from the start, you decided to do concert photography.
Yeah, I was working with musicians and artists from the start, and I kind of got the bug really early, even though I was shooting other stuff like weddings and whatever, corporate stuff. It was always my goal to, like, from the very start, I was like, I want to be a music photographer. I want to shoot primarily music. So it was always the goal to do that, like my main source of income to come from music clients. And that probably happened around 2014. So it probably took about 3 or 4 years before that crossover of all of my clients, or like 99%, you know, or 95% being music related, because I just genuinely love working with artists and musicians. So
this letter, was this kind of from one of the bigger opportunities that you had within your 3 years? So this was maybe the biggest, or one of the bigger?
Definitely one of the biggest. I was working with one of the biggest like hip hop groups at that time. And I was friends with them because I'd actually just shot them for my book. So I've got a book that's portraits on Australian hip hop artists. So I had established a relationship. They were like, you know, we really love you. We'd love you to come and shoot the show. And it was like the management that I was getting the like attitude from. And, you know, it basically said like, you know, we didn't ask for any money to be involved in your book. So why are you asking money? And I was just like, wait, what? Like the book project was like a profile on the entire industry. Like it was a snapshot in time, like it was a historical document. So this is this like really weird analogy that he brought up. So it was, I remember the feeling, like I cried for probably about 2 hours when I got that email. But like I said, I did a trip to New York not long after that. I got to work with some of my favorite hip hop artists of all time, and it really just, I was kind of like, oh, like I don't need people like that don't see value in my talent, you know?
I like how Kiki's just, her automatic response was, did you respond with go F yourself, you know?
I would now, but I didn't at the time. At the time, I actually just came and I was just like, here are the photos. I don't want to speak to this person anymore. And I wouldn't do that now. I would definitely stand my ground.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those learning process things. I think you have to go through those moments to really feel that, no, I'm worth more than, I am worth charging money for. Like, you've got to feel that. I just saw Devin in the chat as well. What up? Nice to see you. It totally knocked my confidence. But I think having that experience in New York, like I said, working with some of my favorite rappers of all time, was just like, whatever, these, like, who cares about Australian hip hop anyway?
That would have had me shook.
I don't mean that. I love
Australian
hip hop. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. I can't imagine. I mean, to be honest, chat, I've messed up client relationships with myself with weddings, and it didn't come in the form of they hated. Well, maybe there was one client. So I did have one client who got upset with me because I was late on the delivery. A really good friend that I met here in Maui, and I was late on the delivery of the photos. I thought I did a good job editing, blah, blah, blah. I gave him a really good deal on the package, everything, just good friend. And so I was late on the delivery, and they didn't indicate how upset they were with me, because I try and keep it really professional in our communications, emails and stuff. So once I finally got the photos delivered, I was blocked from the Instagram. And to this day, I don't know what happened. I mean, I feel like we were great friends and everything, but the only person I could really blame is myself for not having delivered what I said I was going to deliver. And not only that, but I threw in an album and all that stuff. So it was during a time, I'm not making excuses, but I was sick. It was in January. I was sick. Other things kind of happened, but you know, for the most part, I was late, and that's the thing. And so they blocked me, and I've been tempted to see, like, you know, go on another profile that I have and, you know, see what's going on. You know, I never saw anything come back to me as far as talking me down, but with the local community here on Maui and like our friends and stuff in this age of everyone's getting married, it kind of sucks in the back of my mind that they potentially could be out there telling me that I'm not good and that I'm not, you know, I'm not someone to hire. And so that's always in the back of my mind. And so I've just kind of moved on from there, you know, and that's not the only time.
It's hard with friends. And someone, I think, was it Kiki, mentioned that. I think there can be like a level of entitlement that can come with that. And maybe that's something for people to be aware. Like, they definitely always want more of you. And like, I think as photographers, we always give more as well. And maybe there was an expectation the photos would be delivered quicker or something. But like, that also needs to be communicated from them, that there was, you know, it's harsh if you were just blocked. So yeah,
you know, Kiki's saying, you know, you gave them huge break extras, they could have chilled or at least talked to you about it. And that's what I thought, you know, Kiki, like, I try to be real transparent. There was another client where I had to refund them the cost of their wedding album, which was quite a bit. And they were set with something else. Okay, I'm not the perfect wedding photographer, I'm telling you guys. I've got some stories. And so again, kind of a client that I knew well and stuff, and I had to refund them that. Now here's the thing with that, I'm still in contact with them. We still talk, you know what I mean? We talked it out. We've on a professional level, but I don't know what I did to offend them. If I did personally, where they have to block me, I don't know. Like, I've got clients that I fix things with. They, you know, got the refund, smooth everything over, and it's fine. But this person, yes,
that's what Kiki said. Some people are just whack. I completely agree, and I think we'll all have these experiences. And the best thing to learn from this is that, like, it's like, don't take it to heart and don't let it like stop you from doing what you love, because there just will be those people, and just try and move on. But it fucking sucks. Like, it really does.
Yeah,
it hurts.
It sucks. It sucks.
It really is. Yeah, awful.
Okay, so how about, okay, so we kind of went deep there about you know, negativity, things that come up that could derail you potentially. What are some things that have helped you tangibly? What are some things that even the chat could like get a hold of, whether it's like a book or a podcast or an Audible book? What is something tangibly that we can get a hold of that have helped you become the beast of a woman that you've become now, right?
Yes. I think the first tangible thing, and it's, I guess, why I'm really passionate about my particular little community, is that I had people that believed in me at the start, and it changed my life. So, like, if I can be that for people, and if I see something, I will tell them, because those little bits of encouragement can actually, like, you know, it can be life-changing. I think specifically for young women, and this is another thing that I'm really passionate about, I would say probably 90% of my community are young female photographers, that, you know, we are known to suffer from like self-doubt, and especially when we're younger, and we think, a lot of women think they need to be, you know, the best at everything before they put their work out, and just encouraging there's a space there for people to share work. that is non-judgmental and loving and encouraging and all those things, because I had that from people and it meant everything to me.
Okay. So people would be number one, top of the list. Your spouse, your friends, family, someone that is that encouragement to you that can be that rock.
Yeah,
number
my
two,
best friend.
anything?
I was gonna say my best friend Johnny was someone that completely saw something in me at the start, and he has been a huge help in terms of my business and setting up all of my IT stuff, and he used to assist on all of my shoots because he just believed in me at the start, and just people like that that have helped me on my journey have we have Glow Beaton in the chat. The other Aaron is another person that has been, I couldn't do Twitch without him. So these people that come into my life that help me are just they mean everything to me. So if I can be a person in a community that can be encouraging and stuff like that, then that's it feels like a life purpose almost. It's I really want to inspire a future generation of girls to pick up cameras, basically.
Okay. All right. So what about podcasts, books, things like that?
I know I was supposed to get some specific examples and I completely forgot. But I listen to so many podcasts. It's my passion. And not over I'm not really into inspirational podcasts. I'm into podcasts that challenge me and challenge my perception of life and reality and all kinds of different things. So that can take me on different journeys and discovering different people. But I like to listen to people that I know that I'll disagree with as well. I think that's really important. I like to challenge myself constantly.
Good.
I think
it's really good.
Not put myself in a little bubble of just people that agree with me all the time. That's something that I'm really, really passionate about. And I find inspiration in pretty much anyone. Even if I vehemently disagree with people, I can find a common ground often and go, oh, cool, I agree with this person on this topic, but I definitely disagree with them on that. And that's okay. We don't have to hate that person, and we don't have to, come with the pitchforks and demonize somebody because they have a different point of view. And trying to find a common ground is, I think it's really important in this day and age. So that's something that I try and do with all the stuff that I listen to. And I guess one book that did really help me through a difficult period of a working period was Eckhart Tolle, I think his name is, Power of Now. I think everybody or most people would probably be aware of that particular book, but very much about being present. And the thing that it taught me was my reaction to situations are often based on something that's happened in the past, and being able to sit with, when I feel something, being able to sit with that and notice how it's making me feel and go, okay, that's interesting. I feel a certain way about that. And why do I feel a certain way about that? Rather than reacting, because I'm Sicilian and I can totally react too soon. So learning just to sit with it and not react off emotion and just be okay, why are you feeling like this right now? And that's, in the last couple of years, that's really helped me. And really, I feel like I've really grown in the last couple of years. So
yeah, to be even tempered, to have that self-control. And when you encounter those situations where even maybe even a client could turn into somebody different from when they were, or how they were during your meeting to how they are during the wedding. Maybe they get a couple of drinks in them and now they turn something else. To be able to learn how to deal with that and to handle that. But I like what you're saying too,
totally.
About different, there's a lot of things that we can disagree with people on, but in the sake of trying to find common ground and for the sake of trying to understand one another, it starts with like that self-control and being able to respond.
Yes.
One thing I think you said it, but yeah, I would rather respond to something than react. You know what I mean? Like respond,
Yes.
like gives me time to think about my
Yes.
response.
Yeah.
Versus
I mean, when you get those.
like, I'm just gonna act out immediately
Yes.
to what's happening to me versus taking the time to think about my response to give a response.
Yes. No, I mean, I was one of those people that would get an email and then just like, I'm pretty even-tempered, but if I get angry, then I just want to be like, right, like type this email out. And sometimes just typing out what I want to say, but don't send it.
That's good.
It's
Just
like,
don't send it. I've done that a couple times.
Don't send it. Yeah. And my husband does the same thing too. I'm like, just type it, get all the frustration out, and then go, okay, definitely don't send that version. Let's pull it back like 60%.
Yeah, and I would echo what you said about your spouse. Like for me, Gail's, if I have anything going on or I need clarity or whatever, I go straight to my spouse and just talk to her, and then what's great about my wife is that she doesn't do social media at all. And
That's awesome.
So she's like this completely pure, innocent person to where like if I go to her about something, it's simple in her eyes. Just this or that, like she doesn't get caught up in all that. And so it's really
That's
cool.
amazing.
And it's cool that I know she lurks and she watches Twitch and stuff like that. But even still, like I go to her for advice, not, because I could talk to you, another streamer, about certain things, but but now me, you have this like you have this, I guess, bias towards me in a certain way, like me, you want the best for me kind of thing. So if I ask you for advice on things, it maybe won't be as clear cut as like someone who has no affiliation with Twitch and be like, oh yeah, the audio sucks. I mean, I know you would look out for me like that. You're a friend like that, but
no,
anyways,
but I know what you mean. And I totally know what you mean. And Jarvis is very similar too. He's not really on social media at all. So I totally get what you're saying. And it is great to have that person that can give you that perspective that's just like, Jarvis always just like, whatever, like just, why do you care what people think? And I'm like, I care so much what people think. So it's good to have that.
Devin showed up late to the chat and he's wondering what we got into photography and music photography specifically. Can you give like a 2-minute drill?
Oh god, it's a 2-minute drill. So short story, business failed, crashed, devastation, picked up a camera, happened to be okay at it, and kind of fell into music photography because I had friends that were musicians, not magicians. Kind of fell into music photography and pursued it from there. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Sorry, I tried to give my little interpretation on the side. Hope that wasn't distracting.
Saw it.
Okay. So one of the things too is like you said, mimic. One thing we talked about with podcasts is that sometimes with podcasts and audible books is that sometimes you can consume more information than you need. And all that information can keep you lethargic, because like there's only one podcast that I mainly listen to, if I ever listen to a podcast, which is the Chase Jarvis Show, and I like listening to him because he had created Creative Live. He's a photographer, but he brings on people like Richard Branson, who are billionaire entrepreneurs who's looking to get into space. Or, he brings on Brene Brown. They talk about psychology and stuff. And so I kind of just sit with him because he kind of brings me all the different stuff. But another podcast I was interested in was Tim Ferriss. I know that he's got amazing ways of learning how to do things and pick up things like super hyper, what's that word? Effective at work, or what you do. I forget what that's called. Productive, hyper productivity, stuff like that.
Awesome.
And then books. One of my favorite books, and chat knows this, you know this, I shared with you, the War of Art is like one of my favorite books because it's so simple. It's thin. It's an easy read. You can get through it in less than a day, but it has all those great Gary V type things where, of course, Stephen Pressfield's the OG, right? It's written a long time ago, but it's just like, what did I forget who the author was, but he's just like, you hear that old adage of like, I wait until inspiration hits me before I get into work. And the guy's like, well, fortunately for me, inspiration hits me when I get to my desk and I sit down at 9 a.m. every morning. And it's like one of those things. It's like, I don't wait for inspiration before I start work. I just start working and inspiration comes.
Start working. Yeah.
And I think as a photographer, you just gotta get out there and shoot, or you're locked down right now. Just pick up the camera. If you get the camera in your hand, then you're more likely to start shooting than when you were just sitting on the couch binge watching Netflix or looking through your Instagram and wondering how the heck is that person still getting fire shots during quarantine and you're just sitting on your couch potatoing it, binge watching Netflix. You know what I mean? Just get your camera in the hand and get in the front yard.
That's the whole reason that I have the creative challenge every week on my stream, is to get people shooting and doing stuff they wouldn't usually do as well. So like thinking about things like this week's the body challenge, like thinking about shooting stuff you wouldn't usually shoot. So that's the main reason that I've done that. It's like shooting is so important, and shooting a lot and shooting a lot of bad stuff is really important as well. So yeah, just get out and shoot. It's so important.
Devin, War of Art, super cool, awesome. Flo, thank you so much for dropping the links. Gypsy J, I literally went to every show. I just started shooting. I was already a musician, so was playing out a lot and just started taking pics and then seeing folks at shows, then talking to them falls naturally. What's up, Mark Vincent? How's it going, man? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Okay, so now can we talk about this? Crazy DMs on the Insta. Do you have any funny, crazy DMs that you can share with us? Because I'm sure you've had quite a bit.
Yeah, so I get the DMs from Ruel fans, which most of them are like, can you tell Ruel this? Can you show him this? And it's just like constant. But I got this crazy one the other day. I'm actually going to read it out because it's really funny.
Ooh, nice.
I just screenshot it because I was showing Matt Hickey today. This is what I got. I'm sorry if anybody in the chat, I'm sorry if you sent this, but I am assuming that none of you did.
Disclaimer.
It says, I will go to Australia after COVID and work for you for free for 90 days, and you will provide a place to stay for me, and I will learn from you because I think you are a very talented photographer and I aspire to be like you.
You will provide a place for me.
I don't know if I have any say in that, but shoot your shot, I guess. I get really
my God, I'm looking for someone
like
to put up in my house to be an assistant for me. Shucks.
Yeah, so I get crazy DMs like that all the time. That's the most recent one. So I do find that young people definitely like. There's someone's just said God level of confidence, Gypsy J. I find that and I admire it because I definitely didn't have that. But they will ask the most outlandish things. I'm like, yeah, like, some people, I always get the DMs about like, can I come shoot a show? And they've like never shot a show before. So, you don't start shooting like a Ruel show. There's like, there's levels to this.
Levels.
You gotta do the groundwork, guys.
Wow.
Shoot
Foos is on to me. Foos is on to me. It was me, chat. It was me. Well, I also do get crazy DMs every once in a while too, and this is from I don't this says Brook.18. Wild photos something, and it says wow, it's actually a group chat request, and it says
I get those.
Come follow me, big boy, to see to see 18 plus photos. Do you guys get those? Oh my gosh, I get those all the time.
Big boy.
Don't ever follow them. Don't ever click those links.
Send me.
It was actually Kiki. It was actually
My
Kiki.
God, I'm done. That was Kiki.
Yeah.
That is so funny. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's the bot accounts. It's the bot accounts.
Yeah,
you know what I laugh at the most? You know what I laugh at the most is like my parents or people who are my parents' age on Facebook, and then they put out the announcement post on Facebook. They say, "Hey everybody, I want to apologize. My account got hacked. I don't know what happened." And in my mind, I'm like, you know what happened. You were clicking that thing that you were trying to look at something that you had to input your credentials in, trying to be all sneaky. You know what happened. And it's always the boomers with those posts. Yeah. It's always the older generations with those posts. And I just have to sit back and laugh. And I'm like, yeah. Anyways.
Yes, that is so true and so funny. Yeah. But mostly my DMs are actually really lovely, and a lot of them are aspiring, and a lot of them young female music photographers that, have said that they're inspired by seeing me on stage with their favorite artist. And, it's really rare to see a female touring with an artist. It's still something that barely ever happens. There's a handful of us across the world that do this. So, like I said, if I can inspire a future generation, then I feel like I feel a sense of responsibility, and I'm also thrilled to be doing that. So yeah. Yeah,
that's funny. Kiki says, I say that with my dad. I don't have computer. I have computer on virus. That's not a Greek accent. Sorry, that's bad. I tried. So funny. Okay, so I do have another question. I know we are coming up on some time, and I don't want to keep you long because you need to sleep.
Oh, it's fine. I'm not doing anything tomorrow, so yeah.
Okay. Okay, so chat. I had something that I came across recently, and I don't want to put this person on blast because they're a new photographer here on Maui, and they basically sent me an example of their contract. And so I'll just leave it at that, okay? And I'll just say I came across this contract online of a budding photographer, and so this person was upset because a new photographer and, cheap rates, of course, and they sent the photos out to the person they shot for. They're really excited for it. But the people that she shot for got the photos, they posted them, and they didn't tag the photographer. And so the photographer got real offended and was just like, so this person posted on their Instagram stories, everybody, I just want you to know I'm just starting out in photography, and if you've done a photo shoot with me recently, I'm so glad that you did, but I would also greatly appreciate it if you would tag me in the photo in the next story. Tag me in the photos because I've worked really hard for this. I'm really trying to get out there, blah, blah, blah. So I just want to say thank you again for tagging me and this and that. And so I was just like, ooh. Oh, shouldn't have done. I was like cringing on the inside, and then, and so the topic came up on contracts, and so this is what the contract said. So for the client, they agreed to pay the amount of photography service, pay the amount that was agreed upon for the services. Okay, so this is the client. The client has to agree to this before they get into a photo shoot with this person. I agree to let my photos be shared on social media, photography website, blah, 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 right? Pretty reasonable. I've got that in my contract, The next one, the use of rights. When sharing or posting any photographs taken by said photographer, I will give credits to that photographer by tagging her in the post using her Instagram handle or tagging her account on Facebook. I will give credit every time I post a photograph taken by the photographer. And I was like, oh, what? Okay, so here's the next item. I agree that the photographer legally owns the photographs taken due to copyright laws. I will not alter the photos finished in any way. I will not edit them after it's sent to me. I will not edit the edited photos after they've been sent to me. I can't add a filter or any of that on Instagram. Okay, now here is the here's the photographer's portion that the photographer agrees with. I agree to honor the rate amount agreed upon with the client. Next part, the use of rights for the photographer. I give printing rights and sharing rights to my client only if they give credit to me. So you can't print your photos unless I see that you're giving credit to me on Facebook.
After they've paid $4,000, like
by tagging my Instagram handle in their post or tagging my personal account on Facebook, the credit has to be given for every separate post. Let's discuss. And so this is a very new photographer. I think obviously this contract was written up because of that experience with the client.
yeah.
So what do you think about that, Michelle?
Okay. I have this discussion with music photographers as well because the majority of music photographers work for free. And so when you're working for free, your currency is like a tag. So I'm all for pushing for tags. Like if you know you're starting out, you're doing a job for a band, and you want to get more eyeballs on your work, and I think that's a good trade when you're starting out. When you're getting paid for a job and the client has paid you money for the photographs, I think a tag is nice, and I still encourage people to tag me, and I would say the majority of my clients tag me anyway, which is really lovely. But if it didn't happen, like, so be it. I got paid. I paid my bills. I paid my mortgage that month. I think it's a nice thing to do. I certainly wouldn't be writing into any contract. I think if some of that is just like there's a relationship thing and a respect thing that clients like to do. I definitely have that with my music clients. Like I think 99% of people would tag me anyway. But yeah, as for writing it, like, and also every instant, like, that would be virtually impossible, I think. Like, yeah. So being reasonable and yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
It's good stuff, Alamo, about writing a contract with a lawyer. Very important, because this person, I believe, just kind of pulled things that this person found online. And one thing, Flo, he said, if he's nobody, he does not need a contract because you need experience first and then contract. So I used to do that. I used to just do the shoot and then cash on the table, whatever. But now I don't do anything, even if it's with a friend, even if I'm charging them hardly anything because they're my friend, I'm hooking them up. I will always put a contract between us. I will always do that to protect myself, because I don't know if they're gonna go AWOL, and I don't know if it's gonna bite me in the butt, and so always putting that contract out. Now, the thing about the contract that I just read, that was the most kind of craziness, was, this person who wrote the contract is expecting to enforce that even 10 years down the line, it's anniversary, 10 years together,
it's impossible,
you better make sure you tag me. You better make sure you tag me. It's like, are you gonna even be shooting 10 years from now? And the thing too, like, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, just on contracts, because that's a really interesting point. I do for weddings. It's probably the only time I have really big contracts like that. I actually don't use like contracts, which a lot of people think that I'm silly for, but I do write everything down in an email in terms of like expectations, delivery, what I'll deliver, the time that I'll deliver it, the amount of files, and I haven't ever had any issues. I'm just not big, and also I think I think it's just different in Australia versus America. I know America's very big on contracts. I've never had an issue that I haven't been able to just talk through with the client and have really good communication on expectations. So expectations before and being, delivering and stuff. But weddings, even if it's for a friend, I always have a contract. Always. I just think weddings just can, I don't know, there's something about weddings that are emotional and people can get weird. So I just think that's when I've definitely ran into sticky situations. So I would do it for weddings.
Yeah. Yeah. And the experiences I've had too, where I've botched, weddings and stuff like that, it's like, because of my contract, it probably helped me. And it's just kind of like that objective person to call it as it is, the ref. It's the ref in the fight, and then you can always just rely on the fight or rely on the ref, and so, yeah, definitely. But I just wanted to share that just because, for Instagram and stuff like that, like it's so true. It's just something to think about, especially for new photographers. You heard it from us, okay? You got to be prepared to have clients that won't tag you, and they don't tag you not because they hate you. They probably didn't tag you because they forgot. And are you gonna be the type of photographer who shows their insecurities by putting a post out or calling it out, something like that, where it's hard to do in the masses? You can't teach the masses, you know what I mean? And so what I've told this person, I said, what you can do when you sit down with them to go over the contract or go over the expectations of the wedding and stuff, put a reminder, or, for me, with my relationship with the clients, like the relationship is built up to a point where I don't even have to bring up tagging. It's just second nature because we book 9 months out. And usually the clients will start following you on Instagram. So they know how to use Instagram. They know the culture behind it. They know what's appropriate or not. But man, I interact with my clients, and especially when I get their engagement shoot photos out there, and then I'll post sneak peeks, and then they'll share it and we'll tag each other. That's just something that you're going to build up over time. Yeah. Don't let a couple clients not tagging you derail you or make you do something that you're gonna regret. And I'm so glad, Captain Lasagna, what's up, my friend? I'm so glad that I was able to speak to this person about their contract before they used it with another client. Yeah. I'm glad I was able to get in there.
Yeah, just having that person that can say, hey, maybe not the best way to go. Don't be so aggressive.
Mr. Sacre! What's up, man? Buenos dias. Yeah.
Yes. So, what up, Captain Lasagna?
Captain Lasagna. Well, amazing, great stream today. I'm glad that you got to come on with me today. Chat, did you enjoy seeing Michelle the first thing as this stream started? Was that fun or what?
I think it was very confusing.
Good, I'm glad. Well, I guess I could just say this then, Michelle, that chat, Michelle and I talked, and we think we want to move ahead and maybe do a stream together once a month. And so next month we're going on her turf. We're going to go on her turf in her time for her community. So we'll let you know when that happens, and then in 2 months from now, she'll be back. And we're gonna look at trying to talk about things and just kind of have fun. We'll see if we can do some interesting
I'm just
stuff.
gonna pop my Twitch in the chat. There you go.
I'm
There's my
so
Twitch.
sorry. I haven't shouted you out once. I'm so bad.
What the hell? What are you doing? I bring all my people here. No, I'm kidding. I've done it, so it's fine. But I think that'll be awesome, and I'm like super. I mean, we've spoken about this before, but I think
Thank you, Flo.
There's so many, people within our communities that would get benefit from being in the other community, and like we can kind of join forces and so like content that we both think is going to be great for both our communities. So yeah, we definitely want to do this more often and more collaboration. So hopefully people are into it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see. And so awesome, Michelle. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful sleep. As for me, I've got work that I get to look forward to in the next hour.
It's 3 a.m. here now, so I definitely will be sleeping.
Oh my gosh. Well, chat, show the biggest love to Michelle right now. Thank you so much for being on with me, Michelle.
Thank you.
I hope
pleasure.
you have a wonderful night, and I will put those photos together so that next month when I'm on your stream, then maybe we can look at your edits and stuff like that on your turf and on all that good stuff.
Thank you to all the Join the Crew fam that were in the chat tonight. I really appreciate you showing up. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Woo! So excited, so stoked about it. All right, now I'm gonna kick you off.
Okay, boot me off.
Okay, bye, Michelle.
Bye. How do I disconnect? Let me go to Discord. Okay. Bye.